What's going on, everybody? This is the Delta Corner, and this is my July 2026 breakdown video. We're going to be recapping all the trades I've done and going through each one of them one by one. So if that's something you're interested in, stick around and we'll take a look at the numbers. All right, what's going on? We're going to be breaking down the July 2026 monthly recap. Going to go through all the trades I've done, what I closed, take a look at it. It was a pretty big month, and you're going to see why soon. So let's get into it. Reminder, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is purely educational, just sharing my journey. So stick around and let's get into it. All right, so this was a pretty massive month for July. I mean, this is the most I've ever made in premiums for a single month, $1,100. I think I closed about 4 trades. We're going to get into those right now, and we're going to see where this $1,100 came from. All right, starting off with a cash secured put that I closed for now for NOW, sorry, service now. This one was a total of $145 in realized profits. Originally, we had sold it for $171 up front at a $90 strike. So that means that we had $9,000 capital at risk or in collateral. This was a 38-day to expiry one with expiry on July 17th. We originally opened it on June 9th, 2026, and we closed it on July 6th, 2026. We sold one contract we got a 1.64% return on capital, and we closed it for $28 in 27 days. And in terms of premium captured, I believe this was pretty high, around 90%. So 145 divided by the 171, this gives us, break out my calculator, 145 divided by 171 equals, 85% of the total premium captured. So pretty high, but pretty good, pretty solid. Next up, we have a Reddit RDDT cash secured put that we closed. This one we realized $219. We closed this one in 19 days. We had originally sold it for $235 up front with a 35-day to expiry at a 130 strike. So again, this one, $13,000 in collateral or capital at risk. We bought this one back to close at $18. This was a 1.72% return on capital. And I believe this one was 219 divided by 235. I believe this was 90% of the total premium captured. So again, a little high. Could have probably closed that earlier. But that's just kind of how it fell this week. So 93% of the total premium was captured on this one. So pretty good. All right, moving on to the next one. We have ASTS, another cash secured put that I had closed. This one was insane. I believe this was the fastest one I've ever closed. In just 9 days, we got $281. So pretty solid. We had originally sold it for $385. We bought it back for $105. So that was, I believe, we do 281 divided by 385. We get 281 divided by 385. 72%. So 72% of the total premium was captured, and that is right nice in between the 50 to 70% that we want to target. There's no point in holding this for the full 32 days, like an extra 20 days. After 9 days, it was already at 72%. You just close that and redeploy the cash. This was a $65 strike. So the reason this happened is because I had sold the strike at $65. And then, within 9 days, ASTS kind of rocketed up. So, yeah, that's why we were able to close it so early. And again, 4.6% return on capital. So the 281 divided by the $6,500 that we had at risk. So that was a really good return on capital. Regular stocks don't even make that much in 9 days. So pretty solid overall. Lastly, we have a NBIS cash secured put that we had closed. This one for $413. This one was kind of stressing me out, not going to lie. I had originally sold it on July 1st with a 30-day to expiry on July 31st. We closed it on July 30th, so the Thursday before it expired. So that took a while. 30 to 29 days, almost the whole time, came down to the wire. We had originally collected $1,008 up front. But because NBIS, if you're following the markets, tech got pretty hammered in the last 2 weeks of July, especially these high beta ones like NBIS, ASTS, IREN, all these other high beta tech stocks that are related to AI kind of got smashed. So I was thinking I was probably going to be assigned at this 180 strike. I didn't really want to be assigned just because that would have been $18,000 that I would have had to, use to buy the 100 shares. Not that I didn't want to own this stock, it's still a stock that I wanted to own, but the way it was trading, and the amount of capital I already had in the cycle, I didn't really want to have to be that. So I was going to look at either, do I have to roll, or should I just buy back for loss? But on the last 2 days, on the last week of July, the Thursday and the Wednesday kind of made the stock move back up and trended above my strike. Thank God. So that's why we avoided assignment on that one, and we closed at four. We'll just round the numbers. 4 divided by 1,000. Easy math. So that was about a 40%. So a little below the 50, but I didn't want to risk holding it for that one extra day on the Friday, and I just decided to close that and still capture, $413 in 30 days, which is still, for me, that's amazing. I'll take that any day. All right, this was a covered call that I had sold. So I sold this on July 15th because I had been assigned, and I'll kind of get into the details of that next. I sold it for 16 days to expiry. We let it expire worthless. You can see here. So the close price was 0. So when it expires worthless, nothing happens. It just goes away, and you collect 100% of the premium that you had sold it for. You can see that here. The strike price is wrong. I had actually sold it for a $49 strike. And for the whole month, it was trading it was hovering between $33 and $40 a share. So well below the 49, still got 117, still was able to capture about 2.4% return on capital on that one. So overall, pretty good. So didn't get called away, still holding the shares. And yeah, we'll take a look right here. So this is the full cycle. You can see so far with the cash secured put plus the covered call, we have collected a total of $377.14. So far, this entire position has been open for 52 days. It's still in progress because I'm still holding them. They didn't get called away. And here's kind of the schedule of what happened. So on June 5th, I sold a cash secured put for $45 strike, and I collected $259 in premium. On July 10th, I let it expire. I let myself get assigned on it. It $45 is only about 40 is only $4,500, so not too much of my capital. I didn't mind being assigned on it. I kind of wanted to get some experience selling the covered calls and doing that side of things because I haven't done that yet. And I do like the stock, so I didn't mind holding it. Um, so now I'm holding the shares as of July 10th. Um, Cost basis is 42.41. So even though I had to buy it back, I had to buy 100 shares at $45. I had already collected this premium here. So that effectively lowers your cost basis by the premium amount that you buy. So I think it was about 260, 259. Um, and then on July 15th, so that was July 10th, on July 15th, I sold a 49 strike covered call. I collected 117. And again, more premium. So that just lowers it even more. So 42, 41 minus 117. So now we're looking at like about a 41 and change per share. So really nice. That's what's really nice about the wheel. Um, so it wasn't called away. That's still pending. I'm going to be looking to sell another covered call within the next couple weeks on this one. All right, so still open. So what we have still open is a cash secure put for NBIS. This is at a 120 strike, so much better than the 180 that I had in the other one. This is actually wrong. I took this screenshot up earlier, but it's 21 days to expiry so far remaining. Upfront, we had collected $6.30 in premium, so $630. For capital at risk, we have $11,370 capital at risk. Again, this is just the 120 minus the 630 premium. That's right here. So that's the capital at risk, because if you're assigned, you just collect this whole thing. There's no additional cost to buy back. You're just assigned the shares at the strike. So best trade of the month. My opinion, it's this ASTS one. I mean, just looking at the time it took to close it, 9 days, and the return on capital that I got for it is just, that's probably one of the best trades I'm going to make in a while. That doesn't happen very often with the wheel. Realized 281, so still a solid amount of premium that I got from it. And yeah, let me know what you think the best trade of the month is. I think it was this one. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought was a pretty nice trade. Not the highest premium, NBIS and a couple other ones were still higher, but I think overall this one was still the winner for the month. Yeah. All right. Looking at the totals for the month of July, let me just shrink my head so you can see the numbers here. Perfect. All right. So up front, in total, we had, that's supposed to be dollar amount. Up front, we had collected $1,913.05 in premium up front. What we actually realized from that was $1,161.73. So of the premium captured, it was about 60%. So pretty solid. Nice and in between that 50 to 70 that I always talk about. Average return on capital per trade is 2.53%. So solid, above the 1% target that I have for myself. Looking at the average delta, or the average, probability of assignment is a way you could look at delta, 17. So nice and below the 30 that I have as a metric for myself. And I'll kind of do a video on all the metrics that I use for how I pick them. Next is the assignments. I had one assignment, so it was IREN on July 10th, 2026. We rolled 0 trades. Again, I thought about rolling that NBIS one, but it didn't happen, so I did not roll anything. Average days to close was 18, so that's really good. That means we're closing well before the actual expiry date, and that just means, again, redeploy cash. It's that's what you got to do. You just got to keep redeploying it. That way you can get your your return on capital and your annualized return way higher. All right, looking at a portfolio snapshot. So this is kind of a little tracker that I built, a little dashboard that I built in Google Sheets for myself. I'll do maybe a better video taking a deep dive into my tracker, how I track all my trades, and how I built this. But you can see up front here, we started with $36,532. That was the starting capital that I started with back in January. It was $50,000 Canadian, but then after converting that to USD, the Canadian dollar isn't too hot. Came out to 36,000. So that's what I kind of started with. You'll see here my account balance is below that now. That is because I got assigned the $4,500, and then I also got assigned, or I also bought this leap here for $2,400 about, roughly. Total fees paid $25. So IBKR, Interactive Brokers, charges a fee for options. I think that's pretty solid. That's not too bad. I'll take that. Total return for the month, or for the year. So again, this is for the year. This is no longer for the month. 7.63%. So that is really nice. They say the average that you want to target for is between 7 and 8%, right? So I think we're going to hit that nicely this year if things keep going well. Realized net profit so far is $27.88. Pretty solid, not too bad at all. Now, looking at the cash secured performance, again, we still have that one open trade for NBIS, and it's tying up $11,370. This capital usage is 35% of my account balance. I really like tracking this because you never want to go too high, because if you're too high and things go south, then you're just going to be left being assigned and you're going to have no cash available, and then you can only do the covered call side of things. So 35% is pretty solid. I don't like to go above 70%. At one point this month, I was at 80% between both my NBIS cash secured puts that I had open. So yeah, that was a little sketchy at one point. Looking at the average day to expiry at open is 34. So that's well within the 28 to 42 days that I like to do. Average return on capital is 2.29%, so not bad at all. Definitely over that 1% target that I have. Average day to close is 20. So again, we're closing them nice and early, and that means we can just redeploy the cash. Average delta is about 16. So again, that's nice and below the 0.30 target that I have for myself. And average profit is $214. Taking a look at these monthly amounts, you can see this was by far my biggest month. The number didn't update, but this is by far the biggest month that I had. NBIS, again, has been a pretty big winner for me. The premiums have been really good on it, and just being able to close those out. Now, looking at the covered call performance, I've only done the one so far. I've only been assigned once. I collected $117 $45.95. You can see the cash assigned here. And that is based off the 45 minus the original premium, the two, I think it was 259.19 or something like that. Again, average day to expiry. These I like to do shorter, so about 16 days, 14 days, probably targeting 2 weeks for that. Yeah, you can see my total wheel. It's the same as the realized up here, is 2788.23. All right, looking ahead for the next month. Again, we still have this NBIS that's open. It expires on August 21st, 2026. So 21 days left in it. A key thing I wanted to point out here is that they have earnings on August 12th. I'll go into this and maybe in a different video, but essentially you kind of want to avoid holding cash secured puts through earnings. Just because of something called IV crush. What happens is you want to sell stocks when there's a lot of you want to sell these cash secured puts when there's a lot of volatility, because that means you can get more premiums. But what happens when earnings come out is, there's no more guessing in the game. There's no more trying to guess if they're going to kill earnings and it's going to go crazy. They come out and the numbers are out, so everybody makes a decision. And what happens is, if there's a really bad move and everybody sells the stocks because maybe, I don't know, earnings were bad or people are taking profit, it can go against you pretty fast and they just blow through your strike price and then you're assigned. So I'm going to be looking to close this one before August 12th, probably within the next week or so. Again, for IREN, we still have 100 shares that we can sell covered calls against. So we're going to be looking to do that again. Like I said, 14 days to expiry is probably what I'm looking for. Delta under 30, and a 1% return on capital at least. That's what we're going to be looking for in the next couple weeks. All right, here's an actual snapshot of my portfolio. So I use Interactive Brokers. I can do a breakdown of my setup in a different video, but just kind of wanted to show you guys, like, this is real. I'm not just making up numbers here. So this is the call. This was the leap I was talking about. It is an ASTS $70 call for March 17th, 2028. Bought it for about $2,491. Right now it's up about 10%. So not too bad. But again, 2028. So we have plenty of time for this one. Here are the 100 shares that I have for IREN. You can see my cost basis here, which was my strike. Right now it's down about 20%. I mean, I'm not too concerned. So about $36 right now is what it's trading at. Not too concerned about that. Just going to keep selling covered calls against that. Here's this covered call I was talking about. I took the screenshot before close on July 31st. So this was still in my account, but basically this one had expired worthless. So we captured the full premium here. So that's no longer in the portfolio. Probably going to look to sell another one. And again, the NBIS put here that I have sold. So August 21st, 2026, 120. And we're at about 50% unrealized profits. So just getting into that 50 to 70% range. Now that we're here and earnings are coming up pretty shortly, definitely going to look to close this within the next week. So that's where we're sitting at. And yeah, you can see here through the numbers on the dashboard, probably a little bit different. They're probably a little off, but essentially here's the $33,000. I am in Canada, but I trade in USD. I use USD. I trade US stocks. So I had to convert $50,000 to USD cash. And that's about it for the month of July. Let me know what you think the best trade was. Let me know what else you want to see, what kind of breakdowns you want to see. Probably going to be doing these once a month at least, for these kind of portfolio breakdowns and closed trades. Going to be doing some, educational videos here in between. Again, this is not financial advice. This is for educational purposes only. I'm just sharing my options trading journey. So follow along, and catch you guys in the next one.